Girl, welcome back to the Glove Sister podcast. It's been a minute, but we're back and we're better, baby. If it's your first time listening, I want to give you a very special welcome. We are a community of women across all walks of life, and we're going through all kinds of things. In this space, we learn from one another, we grow in community, and we joke, we laugh, we let our hair down and have a little girl chat. And ultimately, we're endeavoring to go from glory to glory together. You cannot grab a hold of a revelation and not come and get your sisters. That doesn't make any kind of sense. And so we grab a hold of the revelation and we go back for our sisters and then some. And that's what we're all about. And now that that's out the way, I want you to feel at home. You're no longer a guest. Be comfortable, kick your feet up, grab your snacks and your beverage, whatever makes you feel like you're just sitting in the living room with me. That's what I want us to do. Before we get into today's topic, I need you to help me while we help a sister out, okay? By the way, if you want to be included in this segment, send us an email at info@glovesister.com. We would love to hear your predicaments, your dilemmas, your stories, whatever you're learning from the podcast. Let us know, and we want to feature you because I'm tired of y'all being in my business, to be fair. I want to be in your business. Can we do that? Thanks. Here's our sister, and I'm not going to say her name because she didn't say if she wanted me to say her name. But I'm just going to read, okay? Hey, sisters. I really need some advice. I'm in a tough spot right now, and I don't know how to handle everything that's going on. A little backstory. I'm 29, married, and I work full-time. My husband and I have a 2-year-old daughter who is my world. But she's also at that age where she needs a lot of attention. Lately, I've been feeling like I'm being pulled in a million different directions. My job is demanding, and I'm often working late to meet deadlines. When I get home, I jump straight into mom mode to take care of my daughter, which I love doing, but it's exhausting. My husband is supportive, but he also has a demanding job, so we're both trying to survive each day. On top of all of this, I've been trying to start a side business selling handmade jewelry because it's something I'm passionate about and it brings in a little extra income. But honestly, I'm feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. I barely have time for myself, and when I do, I feel guilty for not spending it with my family or being productive. I haven't had a proper rest day in months. I know I need to take care of myself, but I just feel like there's no time. I'm constantly stressed and I feel like I'm failing at everything. My job, my business, being a wife and a mom. How do I balance it all without losing myself in the process? How do I find time for myself without feeling guilty? I'd love any advice or tips on how to manage this. Girl, I want to say hats off because as women, we're often in positions where we have to wear multiple hats. We have to become multiple people. We're a mom to somebody, we're a wife to somebody else, we're a co-worker at work, we're a niece to someone else, and we're an auntie to somebody else, and we're a daughter to somebody else. There's so many hats that we wear, and we're so multifaceted as women. So I don't know what it's like to have a kid just yet. I'm not there yet. But what I do hear from my friends who are moms, it's not easy. And I'm not too sure how I could advise in something that I've not yet crossed over into. But I think we could talk about balance, and we could talk about finding your identity outside of motherhood, finding your identity outside of a job, finding your identity outside of a title, so to speak. We had an event a couple weeks ago called Woman to Woman, and our panel was women across all walks of life. And it was so interesting to see moms who were in my mother and auntie's age range, and then moms who were in our age range as well, and kind of to see the difference between what are you going after in life? What are your responsibilities in this season of life? What are your goals in this season of life? Everything changes depending on the season of life that you're in. And we asked them an interesting question. We asked the question of, what is your identity? Who are you? And my auntie said something that really, really struck me. She listed the things that she does, but she said, but it's not who I am as a woman. Outside of motherhood, outside of being a wife, outside of your job, the question I would then ask you is, who are you? I think the first step is you've done really well in communicating that. You've written it down and you've articulated that well. And so you have the self-awareness that, hey, at some point, something's got to give. And something that I'm personally learning to do in this season is to utilize the people that are around you. Utilize your friends, your family, your husband. Ask for help when you feel like, you know what, I don't think I could do this. I'm really bad at doing that. I feel like I know what to tell people, but I'm really bad at doing that. I find myself getting overwhelmed and drained very easily. But don't do as I do, do as I say. I think make use of your community, because you're not supposed to be an island. You're not supposed to do everything by yourself. As women, often we become superwoman and we wear every hat and we do everything and we do it to the best of our capability. But girl, we gotta take care of ourselves. We need to take care of our mental, we need to take care of our physical and our spiritual. So just make sure you're setting aside that time to rest. And when you do feel overwhelmed and when you do feel like it's too much to handle, call for help. Go to your safe space, go to your safe person, your person that you can talk to when you feel like, you know what, it's all a little bit too much. And go to the person that's going to hold you accountable to the fact that you need to rest. If you've said Sunday is my rest day, you better get somebody that's going to hold you accountable to what you've said you're going to do. Burnout is so real, and it's something that we can relate to and that we have been on the verge of, or we have experienced at some point or another. Before it can get to the point of burnout, understand your limits, understand where your body needs to rest. Set aside time for resting. See if you can delegate any of your tasks. Lean on your community. You're not called to be an island. Lean on your community. Don't take everything on. Don't shoulder everything for yourself. Because I'm sure if you explain it the same way to somebody else, they're going to want to step in and cover you and make sure that they can help you in your day to day. Set aside time to rest, baby. You need it. You need it. Like, you need it for real. If you're watching this and you can relate, drop us a comment. If you have a word of advice or encouragement for our sister, drop it in the comments, send us a message, and let's help each other on this journey together. I just realized we were actually away for the entire month of August, and that was not by design. That was not on purpose. It just ended up happening that way. I'm learning to take my own advice and know when to not put too much on my plate. And we had our event on the 17th of August, and it was an amazing time. Oh my goodness, we had such a great time. I'm really, really starting to enjoy these in-person events and seeing this sisterhood actualized and watching as relationships blossom and people talk to one another. And it was just such an amazing time. We had an amazing time in worship. Something broke. Something broke in that room for real. Like, something really broke in that room while we was worshiping. And we had panelists across all walks of life. We had mothers and daughters. We had aunties and nieces. We had mothers and wives. We had business professionals and CEOs. It was all kinds of women in the building. And it was just such a beautiful time of connection. But I say all that to say, in order to put on the best event that we could for the women in the room, I needed to know that I have to give myself to it fully. And so we couldn't do any episodes while we were preparing for the event. But we're back for the foreseeable future. We got a few episodes lined up, and that's kind of just why we've been away. One day we will have the infrastructure to have this thing running like a well-oiled machine, but we're still figuring it out, okay? Keep me in your prayers. Yeah, Woman to Woman was so amazing. Woman to Woman was incredible. It was in partnership with She Innovates. And man, I love working with TV. TV is so great. And especially with this event, our goals and our vision just aligned so easily. And bringing that vision forth was incredible. Seeing all the months of preparation pour out into the room was so cool. I got to meet some of y'all, which was great. And our sisterhood and community just keeps growing and strengthening. And I love that for us. Like, we're literally going from glory to glory. And I mean it, like, literally. August was a hectic month that I can barely even believe we're in September already. I am embarking on the 75 hard challenge. It's going to be semi-hard, though, because I cannot work out 75 days in a row. I had to give myself a little bit of grace. Just a little bit of grace. If you want to get plugged into the community, we are checking in with one another in the goals that we have set from the 1st of September until the 15th of November. I'm going to be drinking my water. I'm going to be reading my Bible. I'm going to be praying every morning at 6 a.m. If you want to get on those prayer calls, you better send us a message, because women ought to pray. It's going to be a great time, and it's just going to be a time of personal development and digging deeper in my relationship with God. I think full transparency, I think I reached a place where I would read my Bible and I would pray out of routine, and I lost that spark. I lost that fire. I'm ready to be burning again. I'm ready to be on fire again. And so I think that takes intentional time in his presence, intentional goal set. Hey, I'm going to set aside this time to really, really be in my word. I started watching Bible stories and I started listening to Bible stories. So I want to read the story and understand it, but I also want to be able to contextualize it and put it in the context of what does that look like in the culture that they were in and the time that they were in. We're having Bible studies. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So whether you meet us in person for events or you are our digital sister, we are curating this space where we want to meet you where you are. We're doing Bible studies online. We're in the community group chat. We're talking to one another. Like, we're just growing. Oh my gosh. We're doing, can I say this yet? By the time the episode comes out, you're about to know anyway, so I'm going to just say it. We have a Glow Up Sis mentorship program. Yup. We are mentoring teenage girls, and our lineup is heavy, bro. We got a heavy lineup of girls, women, young women. We have a heavy lineup of sisters who are equipped and ready to support, encourage, and mentor our teens. Registration is open right now. We don't have that many spots. It's quite limited because it is an immersive 10-week course and we want to really have one-to-one time with the girls. So if you are a teenager, if you know a teenager, if you have a teenager, we want to raise the girls up in the way that they should go. And what better way to do that by being guided and having a safe environment with your bigger sisters who have gone through some of what you've gone through before and can talk about it with you and really endeavor to go from glory to glory together as a sisterhood regardless of age. Man, I want to start a book club. I really do. One day we'll start a book club, but until then I'm just going to tell you guys about the books I'm reading. So I'm currently reading The Power of Your Dreams by Stephanie Ike Okafor. Oh my gosh. I'm 4 chapters in and this book has just knocked me upside my head. I've always been the person that, like, I know prophetic dreamers. I have a lot of prophetic dreamers in my life who tell me things and they've seen things in dreams. But I've always just been like, yeah, my dreams don't really mean anything. Like, I just be dreaming really random stuff. It doesn't really mean anything. And boy, oh boy, even just the first couple of chapters of this book has really, really shifted my mindset and shifted the way I look at dreams. And the way that God wants to speak to you. Like, God really, really do be trying to get your attention. And sometimes you're busy shrugging it off and you don't realize, like, he's trying to show you something or, like, he's trying to tell you something. It's such a great book. I'm listening to the audiobook currently and I was just, like, going about my morning routine. And there was a chapter that I was listening to and she, like, blew my mind with this. She was talking about praying for something and wanting something so bad that you idolize the thing that you want. So much so to the point that the thing starts to enter in your dreams and you believe, like, oh my gosh, it's a sign from God. But if you are so infatuated with the thing that you've made an idol out of it, it's going to show up in your dreams and you don't want to trick yourself into thinking it's God when it's not God. And I said, oh, she was talking to me. She was talking to me. Yeah, I'll check back in as I progress with the book. But so far, it's incredible. Yeah, it's such a good book and I recommend it. That's our first read of September. And if you do want to join us and pick up the book and read it, I want to know your thoughts. Send us a message. I want to know what your thoughts are. I want to know what revelation you're getting from the book. Yeah, just let me know. Let's talk books all day long. I could do this all day, baby, all day. If you know me, then you know I'm back in my romance bag. I'm just a lover girl. I can't help it. I'm just a lover girl, okay? So the second book I'm reading this month, I actually got it last month, and I've just not had time to. Life has just been so hectic, but starting with the 75-day challenge, I aim to read at least a chapter a day. Because I had this season where I was really, really reading these books. Like, I think I'm 20 books in for 2024. So I'm ahead of my schedule. But this past month, I just felt completely behind. But we're picking it back up for September. So I started this book last month, and I'm like 30 pages in. I'm reading 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. And I think it's great. I've been loving the romance books a lot lately. However, I am going to give a disclaimer because obviously, like, I love the Lord. I really love the Lord. And I think it's important to maintain purity. And so when I do read some of these books, there are chapters that I must skip. As soon as I see it's going somewhere, we're skipping a couple pages. Okay? Okay? I'm here for the plot. Okay? But in all honesty, I think it's a bigger story around representation of what it looks like to date, what it looks like to be in a relationship, what it looks like to court before marriage when you are a Christian. And that's why I'm writing a book, and it's a romance novel, and it gives insight into how are we supposed to do it when we serve God, when we say we don't date like the world and we don't do things the way the world does them. So those are the two books we're reading right now, and I will keep you updated and let you know more. I know we touched on the topic of burnout earlier as we were helping our sister out. And if I am being completely honest, last month was very hectic for me. I had a lot of social responsibilities. I had an event I was running. I am adjusting to my new job that has a little more responsibility and requires more time and a little bit more out of me. And then there are things that we're working on for the community that require a lot of my time. And I'm trying to be a good daughter. I'm trying to be a good sister. I'm trying to be a good friend. I'm trying to be everything at once. And in the month of August alone, I think I traveled every weekend, and every weekend was a 5-hour journey. And I did not see my home. And it started to manifest in what my home looks like. If anybody knows me, and if anyone has ever been to my home, like, you know how I like to keep things nice and tidy, nice. Like, I can't function in disarray. And for I think half the month, my home was in complete disarray. And I would come back after a weekend and just sleep, knowing that I have to wake up and go to work the next day. And it was just a pattern, and I started feeling like a robot. I haven't been to the gym in a month, and while I'm being productive and I'm doing all these things, another part of me felt like I am burnt out. I can't do it all. I can't be everywhere. I can't do everything. And I think I realized this pressure that I put on myself, that the people who I'm showing up for don't necessarily put that pressure on me. It's me putting that pressure on myself to show up and to be available and to do all the things because it's what I've always done. Yeah. And I think once I had that realization, I wanted to avoid a burnout at all costs. And I decided I really need to give myself some grace. I need to meet me at my point of need. I think it's so easy for us to advise other people and to tell other people, like, hey, this is what you have to do to make it better. And like, it's easy to do this. Reach out to community, take a break, pause, reflect, journal. I haven't even journaled, man. Like, I haven't journaled in over a month. Like, this is crazy. This is outrageous. I think I'm about to put that on my 75. One of my non-negotiables, I need to journal daily, even if it's a sentence. I'm going to start journaling. I need to make a habit out of journaling. I got sidetracked. But yeah, I think with all of that, I just had to give myself grace. I just had to, like, normally I don't leave the house with my bed unmade. I make my lunch at home because I'm trying to be healthier or whatever. So I make my lunch at home. I don't like to spend, like, working in central London. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm not spending no 15 pounds on salad. That's not me. That's not who I am. I don't want to do that. But I really had a season where I was just so exhausted. I had no groceries. I was in the line getting a salad, getting a 15-pound salad. And I'd come home and not have energy to cook. And I felt so out of it for like half of the month. And I don't like feeling that way. I feel unproductive when that's the case. But I also had to give myself grace and give myself time to get back to myself. And last weekend, oh my goodness, last weekend, I had the time of my life. Like, I slept in on Saturday. I ordered a new vacuum cleaner. I got some cleaning supplies and some organizational stuff. And I just did like a huge deep clean. And then I meal prepped for 2 weeks. And then I just rested and I watched movies. And I was like, all has been restored. All has been restored, and I'm back to myself slowly but surely. I'm getting there slowly. I still haven't gone back to the gym yet. I'm going back to the gym tomorrow. And the day after tomorrow, I got a little Zumba class. We're going to go back to Pilates next week. We're easing ourselves back into it. I think normally I would have been annoyed with myself and I would have been like, "You were doing so great. Like, why did you fall off? What happened?" And I'm understanding like, grace, 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 grace. Give yourself grace. You want to be a woman that gives yourself the same grace that you extend to everybody else when you're so understanding of everybody else's circumstances and everybody else's struggles and their pain and their fears and whatever it is they're going through. Have that same level of grace for yourself. Meet yourself at your point of need. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say on that. Before we wrap up, I want us to go into the week ahead with vision, with clarity, and with an affirmation that we're going to take with us, okay? So I'm going to say the affirmation. I don't know if you want to write it down, if you want to repeat it after me, like let's do it like a call and response. But I want you to carry this affirmation with you as we go into this week, okay? It goes as follows. I give myself permission to rest and recharge. I am worthy of grace, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. Take this affirmation with you this week. Repeat it whenever you need a reminder. Set it as your lock screen. Put it in your notes. Tattoo it on your forehead. Be reminded as you go out into this week. Or if you need to rest, rest. If you need to get to the laundry tomorrow, get to it tomorrow. Give yourself grace, girl. Give yourself the same grace that you give to everybody else, okay? Also, I love y'all. Like, that's it. I love you. I love being in this community with you. I love getting to know you. I love when you send us messages. So. Do all of that. I really want to be your sister in real life. Like, let's do that, okay? If you want to be a part of the community, if you feel like you need support, if you feel like you need sisterhood and just a good time, whether you can be there in person or not, like we are creating this space for you. Plug into what we're doing. Get connected. Join our community. Everybody on there is real friendly. Like we be like just doing life together and stuff like that on there. But do join the community. We would love to have you. If nobody has told you, I want to tell you, you are so fearfully and wonderfully made. There is reason for the very breath that is in your lungs. You are so special, so important, and you are built and called for a time such as this. I'm proud of you for the work that you're doing on yourself. Keep going. It's not in vain. And you're going to thank yourself for all the inner work that you're doing to glow up and become the best version of yourself. Have a good week, man. I just love you, okay? I get really weird sometimes. I do love you. Not for anything that you do, but just for who you are. And if you haven't heard that in a while, let it come from me, your sister. I was going to say your big sister, but some of y'all is older than me, so I'm just your sister. But yeah, have a great week. Have a great time. And I'll see y'all in the next episode.